All right, there we go. We're recording. So hopefully at this point you've all gotten the chance to fill out your certificate or join the Google Classroom. What you'll notice on some of the slides in the very bottom left-hand corner or the bottom right-hand corner is a link to this presentation, so that if you want to go back to this slide and pull that information off, you can. Actually, you know what? I know why you're not seeing it, because I didn't refresh the presentation. So now down in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see a link to the presentation. For those of you that are listening, you now know that my second basement cat has joined us, and she's loud. All right. So what we're going to cover in this is how to set up a WeVideo account, how to quickly record and import video into WeVideo, and then how to do some simple edits to that video so that you can finish that movie and share it with students, parents, or in your Google Classroom. Okay. I know that we have a preponderance looking at the list of elementary teachers. I only see 1, 2, 3 secondary teachers, I think. So we will get a lot of elementary questions, and that's okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to exit out of my presentation, and I'm going to jump over to WeVideo. There are some slides in here that you can look through later on that basically are going to say the same things that I'm going to say as I'm talking. That's why I'm going through them fairly quick up here. I am going to add a couple slides too a little bit later on to this, so the presentation will change. But I'd rather show you than just have the text up on the screen. So to get to WeVideo, you're simply going to type in www.wevideo.com. I'm going to clear up my video too, because Google keeps dropping me down to a lower setting. And in just a second, you should notice a little bit better video quality on your end. Okay, so this is WeVideo. It's a platform that Shenandoah pays for. We have not enough licenses for every teacher and every student in the district, but we do have a large number of them, and we still have quite a few available. So it's not used by everybody. WeVideo does have a phone app, as you may have just saw in their little flashing banner here, where you can record stuff on your phone, edit it on your phone, and upload it in your WeVideo account, all from an app. Most of us probably don't want to do that. Some of the students may. It's a small screen for us to work on. Okay, so when you hit WeVideo for the first time, what you're going to get is a screen that looks like this. You do not need to sign up for WeVideo, even if you haven't signed up before. Because you're part of Shen, you're simply going to click in the login up here in the upper right-hand corner. And then it will take you to a screen where you're able to log in with your Google account. This will only work if you've previously logged into Chrome with your Shen Schools account. If you haven't, you click this little guy up here in the corner. You'll see a blue sync button. You'll click on that, and then it'll ask you to sign in with your username and password. Once that's done, your icon will appear up here that you have saved in Google Mail, or it'll be your initial if you haven't done a picture. Okay, and then when I click login with Google, WeVideo knows to use my @Shen Schools account. It knows to use my password. I don't have to do any of that stuff. It's like an instant sign-in. Okay, you won't get this screen. You will get a screen in between here, maybe even 2 screens in between if you've never used WeVideo, saying, welcome to your Shenandoah educational account. And there's going to be a button, I don't know what it is, I can't see it ever again, that says okay or next or proceed. So there's like 2 screens where you just have to say, yeah, I'm sure I'm part of Shen. Yes, I'm glad to have my account. No, I don't need a tutorial right now. Okay, that'll take you to here. This is your dashboard. From every time after the first time you sign in, this is where it'll take you. Up here at the top, it says dashboard. Projects are folders. They are not individual movies. A project can contain multiple different movies. If you were to do a project with your students and you wanted each of them to make a movie, you might create a project folder to hold all of those student movies. I'm not going to do that piece with you guys today. We're not going to talk about how to create folders and collaborate with students and have students make videos. What we're going to do today is basically, how do I make a short instructional video for my students? I want to demonstrate a concept. I want to talk to them. That's what we're going to cover. Okay. So just real quick to go across some of the rest of these tabs. Dashboard is the one where it shows you all your previously made movies. It lets you create a new one. That's what we're going to work off. We'll go over that in a second. Projects are all of your project folders. You will initially only have one project folder called My Projects, and it's fine to put most of your movies in there. Okay, the only time you'd want to create other projects is if you're collaborating with other people. You might see that this bigger bytes and this tiny tech top tips folders, projects, have collaborators over here. Okay, the number of edits is the number of movies that are in that project folder. Okay, media is where you can import and organize your uploaded video clips into folders and such. We're not going to cover this. We're going to show you an easier way to record your video and bring it right into WeVideo without having to click the upload and import. Okay. Exports are your finished movies, the movies that you are done with and you want to publish, you want to put them on YouTube, you want to put them in your Google Classroom. Okay. WeVideo keeps a copy of every single one of them for you, but we're also going to show you in this process how to export that into your Google Drive so you have it in your Google Drive rather than on another platform. Okay. You won't see admin because I'm an administrator in WeVideo, you guys aren't. Templates, I don't recommend. It puts placeholders in that you have to take out and replace with your content. So it's sometimes more effort to do that, but that's up to you if you want to experiment with them. So we're going to come back over here to dashboard. Again, you can see their templates here that are the same as that template tab. I'm just going to click create a new video to take me into the video editing platform. Any questions so far? Because you guys are awfully quiet. You don't have templates. Okay, Leah, we'll have to figure that out. Don't know why you wouldn't have it. You should. I did do a webinar with WeVideo earlier today, actually, where they were teaching other people. And the instructor for that didn't have templates either, but he didn't share with me why he didn't have them or how to get them back. He said, it's odd I don't have them. Okay, it could be if you don't see templates that maybe you're not a Shen Schools account, but I'll troubleshoot that with you separately. Both Leah and Renee, at the end, we'll try to troubleshoot that together, okay? If you haven't figured out how I'm answering their questions when you don't see them, it's because they're using the chat feature in Google Meets. So feel free to type questions in there, and periodically I will try to look over there and see what's going on, okay? All right, so this screen comes up for me because I have more than those folders. You will see my projects. Okay, you won't see any of these other ones unless you create them. So I'm going to put this sample one in my project. All right. So this is the WeVideo editor. It works almost like any other video editing program. So if you're familiar with that on another platform, this won't be too scary for you. If you're not familiar with video editing at all, it's going to look very imposing, but we're going to try to boil it down just to the essential things you need to do what we're talking about. Okay, so what you see here are is a three-part screen. This bottom horizontal bar is where we're going to build our movie that we're going to finish. Up here in the upper right-hand corner is our preview of what we're putting down here in the bottom horizontal editing bar. This top section is the library of things that we can put into our movie. That library is controlled by these 6 tabs going across the upper left. And you can see that WeVideo includes a 1,000,000 clip library of a lot of stock footage and stock images and stock sounds even. Okay, this, what you're seeing on my screen right here, is because it decided to use the word news. If I do dessert, depending on how you type it, okay, what you'll get is a look at their stock clips for that. If I click on one of these clips, what I'll see in my preview window is a preview of what that video clip looks like. Now I've made us all hungry, which is a bad thing, but those desserts do look pretty tasty. All right. So that's the stock library. You can search it using the thing here. Not what most of us are going to need for doing what we're going to do, which is recording our desktop and talking over it. For that, we're going to use this My Media tab. Okay, these folders here and these clips here are things I've previously created myself. Yours will be just a big gray, dark gray, empty area at first that you're going to slowly fill up with things. Okay, You can import things from your computer or your phone by clicking the import button. We're going to use the record button to record our screen and our web camera. If we wanted to talk over other still pictures and do a narrated book review, for instance, by putting images down here, and then we wanted to talk over those images and read a book, we could use that narrate feature where it's only going to record audio. Okay, so what we're going to experiment with is this record one. I'm not going to go through all of these other tabs now, but it's sufficient to say that there's pop-up bubbles that you can type text in. There's music tracks that you can put in your video. There's transitions to go from one scene to the next where it blends slowly into one or the other. And then there's some backgrounds that you can have that you're talking over if you want. But most of what we're going to do for this simple sample lesson, Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Okay, simple sample lesson is we're going to use this record button. Okay, I'm not going to be able to fully show you what we want to do here because I can't record my screen and webcam right now because my webcam's already being used to use this Google Meet with you guys. And it won't let me do that twice. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to just click screen to show you a little bit more how this process goes. And then we're going to use already recorded screen video and webcam video. So when we do this option, WeVideo records them separately. Your webcam is recorded and your desktop is recorded separately. Okay. When you click on screen and you click next, it's going to ask you which microphone you want to use. You should probably choose your default. In my case, as you can see, however, I have quite a few different microphones. So I got to make sure I choose the correct one for what I want to do. Then I'm going to click next. And now I have more than one screen. It's going to ask me which screen do I want it to record. And I'm going to choose that. You'll get this same pop-up even though you may only have one screen. And you're going to have to click on that one screen. What this means, however, because we're choosing entire screen instead of window or tab, is that it will record everything on our desktop, which means we can switch from Google Slides to a website to anything we want, and it'll record all of that because it's recording our entire screen. Okay, because what a lot of teachers do is they record their screen, then they pop over here to a slideshow, they start it presenting, and then they talk while they're walking through this slideshow to make an instructional video. Okay, but it could be, instead of a slideshow, that you're bringing up Think Central and demonstrating something you want them to try on that website. Okay, all of that will be recorded by WeVideo because you're telling it to record anything that's visible on your screen. So when you switch from one thing to the other, it's still recording it. All right, so I'm going to say click share, and now it's going to count me down before it starts recording. All right, so now it's recording my screen. I'm talking, and what you'll see, and I've moved it off the screen so it didn't distract you right away, is a little box in the bottom middle of your screen that looks like that. That's the button you're going to use to stop your recording when you're done. Okay, you can move it out of the way or hide it if you don't want to use it. Hiding it sometimes makes it hard to find it when you want to stop it. Okay, so I usually just move it out of the way. Do your presentation, whether it's a Google slideshow or a website you're talking to the students about, talk through it and stop. If you mess up, don't stop it. Pause for a few seconds, start again and go, because we can always cut that piece out in the middle where you goofed up, where the phone rang, where the cat jumped in front of you, whatever it happens to be. You can just pause for a second or two to give yourself a gap, keep going, and then when you're done with the whole entire recording, click stop sharing. What WeVideo will do is give you a preview where you can play it and watch it, not really too necessary. If you know you goofed it up so bad you don't want to keep it, you can hit record again. Or if you goofed it up so bad you don't want to record it and you need to compose yourself, you can hit cancel and then start it again later. I'm going to click save on this one just to show you what it does. So it begins saving it up here into my media folder. Notice that it's not instant. It does take it a few minutes to do it. And it usually pauses right at the very end and starts flashing, which means it's still not done bringing it in yet, but it will be soon. Notice that it's also automatically put it down here on your video track. Okay, that only happens when you're just recording your screen. If you're recording your screen and your webcam, it'll put them up here in your library, but not down here on your timeline. Okay, let's see if I didn't hear my thing ding over here, so I don't think I have any questions, but I will pause and take a breath to see if everything's okay so far, or if you have questions. I said I did want this to be interactive, so feel free if you have a question at any point to unmute your mic and just ask it. I'd be glad to answer.
Hey, John.
Yep.
Is there a time limit for recording?
There is not in WeVideo.
Okay, because I just used Screencastify. And
5 minutes.
Yeah, and it was pretty easy to use. It seems very similar to this, but this seems a lot more in depth. But that WeVideo does not.
Much simpler to use than this. Can't do much editing. So if you goof up in the middle of a Screencastify, you almost have to re-record it.
Yeah, I found myself re-recording a few times, so this is a nice option. Okay,
this
thanks.
Is an option. Yeah, it is. You're entirely 100% correct. Way more complicated than Screencastify because you can make changes to it after you can post-production. Unlimited amount of time. You can see that this sample one I recorded up here is 7 minutes and 40 seconds long. Okay. I had one earlier today that I brought in. It was a Google Meet that I wanted to chop up into pieces and re-edit. It was a Google Meet session. That was an hour, a 45-minute session long that I brought in. So you can bring them in or record as much as you need to. Okay, I'm not going to keep this one I just did as a sample down here. I'm going to use the other one that I already previously recorded to show you. Okay, so I just clicked on it and hit delete on my keyboard to get rid of it. Okay, I have 2 video tracks, 1 audio track. If one of the video tracks recorded audio with it, like the webcam, that audio will be up here with the video, not on a separate track. This is if I wanted to lay in music or if I wanted to put in sound effects. Okay. When you're making your movie, the important thing to remember is your movie is layered, just like a Google slide or a PowerPoint slide. Whatever is in this bottom video track is the background of your video. Whatever is in this top video track is in the foreground. I can also add more video tracks or more audio tracks if I want to. So in some cases, I might have 3 things layered on my screen at the same time. I'm going to add a 3rd video track just to show you and make it slightly more complicated. Okay, so now I have video 1, video 2, video 3. My audio is still there. It just rolled off the bottom of the screen. So I made my preview window over here a little smaller by clicking on those 3 dots and dragging. When I do that, it makes my video tracks a little bigger. Okay, so my background is the desktop I recorded. So I'm going to take this track. I'm going to click and hold down my mouse, drag it down here, and put it on my track. If I want it to start immediately, I put it at the very beginning, 0, 0, 0. If I want it to start after a few seconds, because I want to put a title in front of it, I can move it over here and start it. Okay. Then I'm going to bring down my audio and webcam track and line it up with my video. Super important because your narration needs to match what you're doing on the screen, that those stay synced together like that. If I slide this off, what I'm talking about is going to be on the screen before I say it. Or if I do it the other way, I'm going to say it before I do it on my screen. So you want to keep them lined up. All right. And we're going to work on this in a second, but I wanted to show you this feature here. If I want to put text in front of this, I can come up here to my text tab. And then I have all kinds of different ways to add text. I simply select the one I want. I drag it down here and drop it on one of these tracks. Doesn't matter which one. As long as it's not obscured by anything above it, it'll appear even if it's on the bottom track. I'm going to slide this back over like that. And now how do I change this text? I simply double click on it. And then I can pick our Shen Green sample WeVideo recording. Okay, this particular text box only gives me 3 places to type text. I can type more than 1 word in them, but it only gives me those 3 places. I can change the font I can change the size. When I'm done making these changes, I simply click save. And now, if we watch my preview, I'm sliding the slider to see where I want to be in my thing. If I slide the slider to the beginning and press play, up in our preview, you see that text, and then it goes into my video.
Right, so I'm going to show you how to use a tool called Google Meet today to start a meeting and then have other people join.
All right, so I played it a little bit into my recording of my web camera and me talking because I wanted you to see the problem I have right now and see if any of you can identify it. So if you want to unmute or type it in the chat, does anybody figure out what my problem is right in here when my movie starts playing after my little text box? Because we got to make a change. You guys are just like kids.
There's no background.
By that, what do you mean? You're right.
The bottom, like after the words, nothing else is showing behind you, is my
Yeah. Because remember I told you this is the background layer. That's why she said background. All you're seeing is me in the foreground. And we all know we don't need to see me full screen. We need to see the demonstration I'm doing behind. So how do we fix that problem? It's actually pretty simple. What we do is we're going to come up here to this track that has me talking, and we're going to double click on it. In WeVideo, whenever you want to make a change to one of the elements, you just double click on it. Okay, it takes me into here where there are all kinds of things I can do to this video. I can make myself sound like I'm on helium by speeding up my voice. I can do all kinds of things. But this scale bar is the important one for these instructional videos, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale me down into a much smaller window, and then I can move me to where I want to be on the screen, and then click save. Now what I get when we look at my preview is I get my background desktop instructional piece going while my talking head piece is in a small corner. Somebody earlier today asked me in WeVideo, well, can I move that from corner to corner? And the answer is no, not as long as your video track is one continuous piece. But if partway through my head is covering up something in this corner, what I could do is I could come up here to this video clip of me, make sure it's highlighted with the orange box around it, and cut it into two pieces by clicking on this scissor. When I do that, I now have two separate video clips. I can then take this video clip, double click on it, and move that window up to the other corner. And now the first clip has me down in the bottom corner, and the second clip has me up in the upper corner. So you can do that way. Okay. That slider and that scissor is the same way that you would cut out a piece of the video if you made a mistake. The only difference is if you want to cut out a piece of your audio and the video that goes with it, you need to make sure that both of these are not selected. So you see how I have the orange box around me? If I click off of that, now neither of those has an orange box. When I click the clip button, it cuts both of those tracks. I'm going to then fast forward to where I'm done goofing up. I'm going to click the clip again. And now I can click on that piece, hit the delete on my keyboard, click on that piece, hit the delete on my keyboard. I've taken out the piece where I've messed up, and then I just slide these over. If you can't get this slider into the exact right spot because it's moving too quickly, you can zoom in more so that your time segments up here get smaller, so you have a little bit more exact control over where you put the cut. And you can always adjust this back and forth. It doesn't adjust how the movie plays. It just shows you a little bit longer time scale for you making your edits. That makes sense? I'll take it from the no dings and the no comments that makes sense then.
I have a question.
Sure.
If you took out a piece and then like needed to replace it, like you messed up with it and you needed to actually reword whatever you were saying, can you record and then piece that in there?
So the answer to you really have two questions there. One is if you mess up in editing by accidentally deleting the wrong piece out, Your videos that you originally recorded up here are always the originals, and you can always drag them back down and recut them together if you made a mistake in terms of that. If you're saying you made a mistake, didn't realize it when you recorded the video, so you didn't pause and then re-record, the answer is yes, you could re-record a section up here. It would come in as 2 separate videos, cut out the piece in the video that you don't want, bring those down and drop them in. I can slide these over right now, go up here to that stock media library and pull one of those video clips down here. And make it fit in that spot. Does that make sense? Does that answer what you were asking me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so yes, you can re-record anything you need to, and then bring them in pieces. The only reason why I tell you it's better to record it all as one recording is when you record it in different sessions and you cut it in, often the lighting changes or something changes in the background, and people notice that little change. So it's almost better to record with your goof ups and then cut your goof ups out. Okay. One of the ways I find it easy to figure out where to cut my video like this is by expanding the video track. So you can see here's my video track 2. There's a little down arrow right here where it says change track height. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click the biggest setting. When I do that, what I get is my soundtrack underneath my video, which what that allows me to do is see where I have gaps where I am not talking. Okay, so you can see right here, it's kind of a flat line. It means I'm pausing in between words. So if I pause for too long, that means I know that what I want to do is come over here and cut so I can take that pause out of there if I want to. Okay? So because this is the waveform, it's the modulation of your voice as you're talking. If this line's perfectly flat and you're talking, either your mic's not recording or you're like that guy that was the teacher in Ferris Bueller who's a monotone, whose voice never has any inflection in it. So hopefully that's not the case. But and like I said, I've now cut this to pieces and I've made a mess of it. So at any point, if I want to, I can just delete this all off of here and bring these back down. To start over. Okay. You can make as many video edits as you want. So if you start editing a video and you go, I don't know if I like it this way, I want to try something else, you can just come up here, save this video. It's not a finished movie yet. We haven't done that piece. It's just our work in progress. Save it, come back to it later. You can also open up a new edit. You'll still have these video clips in your library and drag them down there and try a different way of editing it together. Okay, so you're not stuck with that one set of edits. All right. So this is the basis of what I wanted to show you today. There obviously is a lot more you can do in WeVideo. I'm more than willing, if you guys want a more advanced session on other things like how to drop those text boxes in, how to do some of the special effects, more than willing to do that. But what I wanted to show you now is this still is a project file. It's not a finished movie. So now we have to tell WeVideo to record the finished movie and put it in our Google Drive so that we can use it in YouTube or in our Google Classroom or send it to somebody via an email, however you want to distribute it. So what we do is while we're in this project edit view, we come up here to the upper right-hand corner and we're going to click on Finish. By the way, before you finish your movie, it's always a good idea, and it's a good idea periodically to hit save. In the Google environment now, we're not used to you hitting save anymore because Google does it automatically. WeVideo will automatically save for you, but it is not instant. If you don't hit save occasionally, you will lose 5 or 6 edits because you didn't save it if you crash out of it. All right, so it's always useful to go in every once in a while and hit save. All right, save does not save your finished movie. It saves your project. So I'm going to hit finish up here. I gave it a title. Too long. Probably should make that how instead of ho. Set. All right, so this is the screen where I get to export this finished movie. I'm going to choose high definition, excuse me. Okay. If you wanted to, you could record just audio only. So for those of you who are thinking about podcasts and things like that, if you want to make it just an audio file and not a video file, you can do that with WeVideo. You can bring your audio down onto those tracks like we were doing, edit your audio, same way you would edit the video, and then export it as an audio only file. So I'm going to pick high definition for my video. And then here's the important part. I want to put it on my Google Drive. Okay. Notice it also saves it to WeVideo. Not super important. I like to have it in my Google Drive because in my Google Drive, I can share it with anybody I want and not the whole entire world. I can put it in my Google Classroom, etc. So then I'm going to say export. And because we're using the paid version of WeVideo, you do not have to sit here and watch this. Okay. It may take up to 8 minutes and 9 seconds. That's how long the video is to do it, or it may take 3 times that. Okay. WeVideo is saying it's going to be ready in 7 minutes and it keeps counting down, but you don't have to. You can close this tab. In fact, I will. And you can come over here and go in your Google Drive. And when your video is done, when WeVideo is finished processing it, pasting it all together, making all that magic with the text boxes you put in, what you will see is in your Google Drive, you will see a folder called WeVideo. Now, I am somewhat anal retentive about my organization, so I've moved folders around. My WeVideo folder is over here in my Bull John video folder. So here's my WeVideo folder. That movie will appear in here as soon as WeVideo is done exporting it. At that point, I can right-click and share that video if I only want to share it with a couple people, or I can open up my Google Classroom, and I know you guys are elementary, so this applies to half of you, the 3-5 half, not the K2 half right now. I just want to do it real quick so you see it. I can come in here into my classroom. I can go to where I'm going to add an assignment. And then I can click the Add button, go to my Google Drive, and select that video. It's not in my recent because it hasn't been exported yet. Sorry, it's just taking a few seconds. Oh, actually, I'll do this one. This one's really cool. I just showed people in my digital whiteboard class, which I'm going to repeat in 2 weeks, how to make a document camera out of their cell phone with Google Meets. And I figured out a way of making a nice holder for it using a cardboard box. So I created a video. But the point being is, I've just attached that video to an assignment. And typed poorly. Okay, so now that video that I created in WeVideo, that I uploaded into my Google Drive, is now attached to a classroom assignment that I can assign to my students to watch. Okay, so we've taken you from I'm sitting down at my machine to logging into WeVideo to recording my video clips, editing them at the very most basic level, exporting your finished movie to your Google Drive, and attaching it to your Google Classroom. So now what I'd love to hear are your questions. Or at least just say hi and how you're doing, because there's 16 of you here.
I have a couple questions.
All right.
One, I'll basically be using this for the end of the year kindergarten slideshow.
Okay.
How would I upload pictures from Google Drive to put in there to use for WeVideo?
Yep.
And
Okay.
then is there anything specific that I should know for doing mainly pictures?
Pictures you can stretch on the timeline to have them show up there as long as you want. That's the only difference between that and video. In video, you can't stretch video because it's got an audio recording to it. So if you stretched it, it would make you sound really funny. Okay. So as far as pictures, okay, you're on your media tab. You're going to click import over here. And then you're going to come down here where it says, I want to import from my Google Drive. And then when it brings up for you is your entire Google Drive. You can open any folder in your Google Drive and bring images in from that folder. And for whatever reason, mine are not in alphabetical order. So let me get that solved. So I can go into my images folder. I can take pictures of me. I held down my control key. I selected all 4 of them. And then I say select. And now it's going to upload them into my media folder, where as soon as they're in there, I'll be able to drag them down here and put them on my timeline. Now that picture is only going to stay up there for that many seconds. Okay, I think the default is either 5 or 6 seconds. If I click on the picture and I go to the right-hand side of it, I'll get those double-sided arrows. I can click and hold it down and make that picture stay up there as long as I need it to. Okay, really important. Was it Renee that was asking me the question?
Yes.
Really important that you might want to zoom to make your timeline a little longer so that you know how long you're putting the picture up there for. So I put this one in at 1 minute and 5 seconds, and I stretched it to 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So that picture is going to be up there for a minute. In most cases, you probably only want the picture to be up there for about 6 seconds. Notice as I move my bar on that picture, it changes right on the picture. It says how much time. You can't see me pointing my finger at it right now, but it says 5:23, 6:08. So it tells you how many seconds it's going to be up there. 6:01. So trying to get it to exactly 6 seconds is going to be hard, but you can do that. And then you can move the pictures in order if you want and shuffle them around.
Hey, John?
Yep.
Does it matter what format the pictures are in?
It probably does. I don't know what formats off the top of my head WeVideo is restricted to. I know JPEGs and GIFs both work, and PNG files work, which are the 3 main picture types.
What about HEIC?
I have no idea what HEIC is. What format that is for a picture.
All right.
Okay. If you find a picture format that doesn't work, there are a lot of like converters on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I know Gail uses with you guys Zamzar. She's used with you guys before.
Zamzar. Okay.
And convertfiles.com.
Yep.
Both of those usually like to convert a picture from one format to another.
Okay. Because we have a lot of HEIC pictures somehow when teachers upload them from their phones.
I've never heard of an HEIC image format, so I don't know what's happening there.
Okay. Thank you.
So, yep. Others?
Hi, John. I have a question, actually.
Okay. Hi, Leah.
My daughter walked in at one point, so I'm sorry if you answered this and I just missed it. Say I'm recording myself working on some artwork, and I want to add my voice later. How do I do that?
So you recorded yourself with your
Just
cell phone?
working. If I say, yeah, say I'm recording myself with my cell phone, just working, and then later I want to give a tutorial to
right.
go with it.
So one, you're going to have to get that video off of your cell phone, right?
Right.
So that's a little bit challenging for people, and it's not something I can really demonstrate on the screen here, but the way I recommend doing it for people is to install the Google Drive app on your phone.
Right.
And
that I'm okay with. That's what we did last time.
Yep. So once it's in your Google Drive, you're going to click import here.
Right.
Select your Google Drive and bring that movie that you saved in your Google Drive into your library in WeVideo. Right. You're going to drag that video down here to your video track, and then notice when I expanded my video track to show the audio, it appears there, and then I can take the slider and I can turn the audio down on the video I brought in to 0.
Okay.
And then you can click this narrate button up here.
Okay, got it.
And narrate over that video. That when you narrate here, the audio will actually appear down below the video track on a track that's called narration.
Okay.
Okay, and you can have it play your video while you're doing the narration. So you can
Perfect.
see and time it out right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Thank you. That's perfect.
John, I have a question.
Sure.
Suppose you want to add music after you're done. How could you do that?
So I know you elementary teachers are gonna get me in trouble because I hear the conversations you have with Gail. Copyrighted music in a video obviously is going to be against copyright infringement. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying it's going to be your own ethics that govern whether you do it or not, right?
Yep.
In order to do that, you would have to have an audio file on your computer, like an MP3 file. And you would import that the same way we imported the pictures or we imported the video that we saved to our Google Drive. You click import, find it in your Google Drive, upload that MP3 file, and then you're going to be able to drag it down here to audio.
Okay.
If you don't want to use a commercial audio file, WeVideo has hundreds of different audio tracks that are free in here. They have sound effects. They have premium music. So if we want cheerful music, all right, we can just then take that, drag it down here on our audio track.
Okay.
Okay. So if you want, and theirs aren't bad. I mean, that one that I just picked out actually sounded pretty good to me.
Yeah, that one's not bad.
Yeah. You can control the audio track volume here. One of the things you're going to want to do is probably lower the audio on that a lot in order to make sure that the narration you have up here is heard if you're narrating. Know this too, and this is going to get really tricky. Fancy advanced lesson for those of you paying attention. So we dropped that audio track down here, right? This slider controls that audio track, but it controls it for the entire audio track, the whole entire length. Okay? We can click on this little blue line that's in our audio track and set additional points. All right, you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Those white dots. And now I can take it and move those dots to cut the audio out for a section. So it plays the music here. There's no music here, and then the music comes back in here. Do you see how I did that? I put those little dots, and then they become flexible. So you can have music fade out and then fade in. Okay, that blue line controls that.
And can you change the song that you're hearing or the sound effect that you're hearing?
You want to put in multiple different soundtracks? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So this is an audio music track. So if we wanted to, we could bring our slider over to where we want that long audio track to end, click the clip, and then delete off the other piece of it at the end. Now I could bring any other audio track I want down and put it after it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one after the other. You can also click this little plus button here to add another audio track. What you'll now see is you have two audio tracks. I can put my music down here, and then I could come up to my sound effects and put in, well, that one doesn't work good. These are terrible ones. Oh, that one's subtle. You hear it?
Yeah.
Clip, clap, clip, clap. So we can drag that down here and put it on here. So you can have a sound effect while the music is playing, while your narration is going on up here.
Okay.
It's all layered, and you have to control that volume to get the mix to come out right. A little more advanced than I wanted to get into today for you guys, but as long as you guys are asking the questions, I'm willing to answer them.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
John, where can we get, I haven't been able to get on all the classes that I've wanted to. Where can we go? I know you're recording these and putting them somewhere. Where can I go back and watch some of these classes?
So this slide here, I'm putting the recordings of all of these in Google Classroom. So if you go to classroom.google.com and you click the plus join button and type in this code here, all of the resources that Vanessa and myself are creating for these classes we're doing online are going in there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, that's one place. And then if you haven't figured it out, and I always use this joke, so I will use it once more. If you go to youtube.com and you'll see all the weird videos I get up here. Some of them are interesting. And you search Bullington. I like to tell people that I'm the attractive one. Because when you look at the other Bullingtons that come up, they're not necessarily... Justin isn't too bad. It's gotten a little better. But I'm the top one that has his picture. If you click on me, it'll take you to my channel, and you can click the subscribe button, and then every time I post a video, it'll send you an email. But all of my videos are up here, and you can click on the video tab, and then there's the digital whiteboard one, there's the Google Forms and Classwork room one, and then shortly after we're done with this one, I'll also upload it to my YouTube channel.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions for today?
John,
Yep.
if you were to, I heard you say that, you know, you can make your voice sound like you're on helium.
Yep.
So if I were reading a story and I were to change my voice, would it change it for the whole recording, or is there a way I can just do it for, you know, a portion of the story?
You would have to cut the portion of the story so that it wasn't all one long track. So you'd have the beginning part, a cut,
Okay.
the part you wanted sped up, a cut, and then what you're essentially doing is you're speeding up or slowing down
Okay.
the track, which if you slow the track down is going to give you a deeper voice.
Right.
And if you speed it up, it's going to give you a more helium voice.
Okay,
But it
great.
means that piece of the story, if you talk for 30 seconds that way and you speed it up, it's going to only be 20 seconds.
Okay.
Right? Or if you lengthen it, it's going to be 40. I was just going in here because I was going to show you, I can't remember them. We have our tools for a virtual classroom, and that's on our ShenTrack page. It's on the curriculum instruction page. It's a slideshow that Vanessa and I work on where we post new things. This particular slideshow has 2 slides at the end of it. One shows upcoming Shen classes. So you can see today, here we're doing WeVideo. Julie Brunetter has a walk and talk tomorrow for Science of Reading. Vanessa is doing eDoctrina, how to do a quick, simple quiz in eDoctrina next week. I'm doing how to make quality classroom videos. Different than a WeVideo lesson. We're going to talk about what makes a good video. I'm doing using rubrics and originality reports in Google Classroom, and then she's doing Play Pause It. So we put the classes that are coming up, Google Slides and Pear Deck, using a digital whiteboard on this slide here. We're also going to send out another email with them coming up. And then if you don't like me, I have all of the remote webinars that are provided by our different vendors. So WeVideo has a bunch of trainings, Play Pause It, Khan Academy, Newsela. So all of those webinars that are done by those vendors are also here for you. And you can get to this by going to bit.ly/Shen Remote Teach. Gets you to that presentation. Because I see somebody just popped into it. Yep, Leah's in it. So any more questions? All right, it's been a pleasure, guys. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks, John. It's nice to actually have a little bit of time to be able to explore after going to one of these trainings.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to keep these to quick 45-minute sessions so that way it's not too much for you guys with everything else that's going on.
No, this was perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, if you have any questions, I'm on every day, 9 to 11, 1 to 2 in a Google Hangout. It's in my signature and my email. So if you just send me an email, I'll reply back to you and you can drop in and ask whatever questions you'd like.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a
Jen.
good day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.